Hi, we're in triple digits. This is episode 101 of 365, and today I'm going to be talking about the ideal morning routine. Have you ever wondered, what do I need to do every day to have the best life possible? That's what I want to talk about today. I'm very certain that you have read, heard, or at least seen about all these articles and stories of the most ideal morning routine, the best way to start your morning, how the best CEOs do it, how the happiest people do it, how the most productive people do it. And they have these list of 10, 15 things that you must do every morning before 7 o'clock, and you wake up at 5 a.m. and you somehow are able to read a whole book, run 10 kilometers, listen to 2 podcast episodes, record your own podcast, write in your journal, do your Bible study, pray, 1 hour of quiet time in the morning, and then you can start your day and be ready for the best and most productive day ever. I think I've said before in this podcast, and I'll say it again, I don't think there's anybody who does the exact same things every single day of their lives, like 365 days a year plus the extra day on leap years. They do the exact same thing in the exact same order, in the exact same way. I think that's okay. Maybe not that there's nobody in the world who does it, but the amount of people who do that and can actually do that, I think, are very, very few. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't have a morning routine or you can't have a set of things that you want to do or that you will try to do every day. It just means that you should not put that pressure on yourself to be perfect every day, to perfectly execute your perfect, ideal morning routine every single day of your life. I think it is an unsustainable thing, and if you do that to yourself, you're putting unnecessary pressure. Yes, we should challenge ourselves to do better. Yes, we should challenge ourselves to do more, but we should also remember that we are human beings. I know we look for all these things and we look at all these things to see how can I be better, how can I do better, how can I achieve the thing that I want to achieve, which is a very great way to think about life, like to want to achieve things, to want to do things. But also remember that the people that are giving you these recommendations and telling you this is what you should do every morning and this is how you should live your life, their lives are very different from yours. The current way their life is very different from the current way your life is. There may be responsibilities in your life, things that you have to do that they don't have to do, and there may be help that they have that you don't have. And now, this is not about having a defeatist mindset or thinking that the world is against you or whatever, but it's about looking at the realities of your life and saying, what can I do now, today, in the way my life is currently structured to start moving towards whatever I want to do? What can I remove from my life? What can I add to my life? How can I make it easier for myself to do these things? Some time ago, I stumbled upon this visualization of the daily routines of famous creative people. And this list is a range of very creative, famous people: scientists, writers, composers, artists, different people who anyone who says we were not successful creatives will be lying. And their routines were very different. There were people who were sleeping at 6 p.m., there were people who were sleeping at 1 a.m., there were people who were sleeping at midnight. There were people who had creative focused time blocks where they were only doing their creative work for hours on end and not doing anything else. And there were people who had it split across multiple days. There were people who had lots of time for leisure. In fact, almost all of them had lots of time for leisure and relaxing, while other people had very limited time for that. All of this is to say there is no one way, there is no best routine, there is no this is the best way to do the thing. Sorry, I think I was shouting, but like this thing really gets me because people put so much pressure on themselves trying to find the ideal way, follow somebody's method or model of how they are living their lives or doing their routine or whatever. And when you don't live up to that, then you start to feel like maybe you're not doing enough, maybe you're not disciplined enough, maybe you're not spending your time well or things like that. But the thing that I've taken out of this visualization, which I will also link to in the show notes, and I think is very important, is that there is no one way to do this. People have to find their own paths based on what works for them and the context of their lives. I remember once upon a time I used to wake up at 6 a.m., sometimes even 5 a.m. without an alarm. and I would do all my productive things, everything by noon or 2 p.m. I was done with all the things I had to do, all things I had planned to do in that day. And then I will use the evening to just like watch TV or read a book or go for a walk, go to the gym, pace around in my house, whatever, and then go to bed by 9 or 10. And now I don't recognize that person. There was also a time in my life where I was waking up at 4 a.m. because I had to go to the office very early. But I can't do that anymore. Now I go to bed somewhere between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. and I wake up somewhere between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. depending on what my day is like. If I'm going to the office, what meetings I have that day, all those kinds of things. And I have become okay with that. I struggled with this for such a long time because I was like, no, I'm a serious person. Serious people wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. before the sun comes up. And I'm just like, well, my life doesn't allow for that anymore. And that's okay. And if you ever get to a point where I need to adjust that, where I need to move things around. And also now I have a lot of things, activities happening in the evening. I'm taking classes. I have other priorities, including spending time with my friends and building and deepening my relationships. And the time where that is most likely to happen is in the evening. And so I'm working around those constraints. I wouldn't even call them constraints. I'm working around the realities of my life and my priorities right now. And my daily schedule has kind of shifted to accommodate that. And that is the important thing. So you need to think about what is important to you right now. What are the other things and considerations you have in your life that shape what time is available to you to do things. Also, it's not just about your environment and things around your life. It's also about knowing yourself. So are you a morning person? Do you tend to have more energy in the morning? Do you tend to have more energy in the afternoon? Do you tend to have more energy in the evening? And use that to build your life. Like, assess yourself, be self-aware. Self-awareness is not just about your emotions and your psychological state. It's also about your physiology and your biology and your body. And if you're a woman and you have periods, you want to also think about, like, how am I in the different states of my cycle? When I have high energy? People often say that, oh, during your actual period you have low energy, but for some people that's not the case. So you have to really know yourself and build your routine and your systems and whatever around yourself, around what works for you physiologically, psychologically, and also in the context of your environment and your other responsibilities. So what is the best morning routine or the best day routine? My darling, it is whatever works for you. Whatever keeps you high energy, whatever keeps you motivated, whatever keeps you able to do what you need to do. That is the best morning routine. Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If you found anything insightful, interesting, or you enjoyed this episode, please do share. And remember to like, if you can, wherever you listen to your podcasts, leave a comment, subscribe, so you get the future episodes. Thanks. Before you go, this is a reminder that you can ask me to talk about a specific topic or answer a question that you have by filling the form in the show notes to submit your suggestion or question. Bye.